When we think of Donald Trump, the first things that probably come to mind are his presidency, his larger-than-life persona, and, of course, his controversial take on many issues. But there's a topic Trump has addressed recently that could have a monumental impact on one of the most disruptive technologies of our time, cryptocurrency. In particular, Bitcoin. The world's most famous digital asset has been both a symbol of financial freedom and a magnet for regulatory scrutiny. And with Trump, a figure who has publicly shared mixed feelings about cryptocurrency, the future of Bitcoin may be at a crossroads. So, what's at stake for Bitcoin in the Trump era? Let's dive in. To understand the stakes, we need to start with Trump's stance on cryptocurrency. Back in 2019, during his presidency, Trump made headlines when he tweeted that he wasn't a fan of Bitcoin. In a tweet that sent shockwaves through the crypto community, he said, "I am not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are not money, and whose value is highly volatile and based on thin air." Ouch. For someone who spent years making bold, often contradictory statements, Trump's opinion on crypto seemed pretty clear. He wasn't buying it. He called Bitcoin not money, suggesting that it lacked intrinsic value and was prone to extreme volatility. But here's the kicker: Bitcoin's core supporters argued that this was actually a compliment. By dismissing it, Trump may have actually been signaling that Bitcoin was a threat to traditional financial systems. After all, why would a billionaire like Trump dismiss Bitcoin if it wasn't shaking up the status quo? Fast forward to 2023, and Trump's stance hasn't softened much. Although he has avoided more direct attacks on crypto in recent years, his comments about stablecoins and the broader regulatory landscape show that he's still skeptical of the whole industry. However, there's a twist. Trump is also a businessman. He understands the power of innovation. So, what happens when innovation meets regulation? Now, let's talk about regulation. The crypto world has been waiting with bated breath for regulatory clarity, especially in the US. Under the Biden administration, we've seen increased focus on regulation and taxation of cryptocurrency. But what if Trump were to make a political comeback? Well, Trump's views on financial markets are firmly rooted in deregulation. When he was president, Trump was a staunch advocate for cutting regulations that, in his view, stifled business growth. Could a second Trump presidency mean more lenient regulations for Bitcoin and crypto at large? Let's take a closer look. During his presidency, Trump passed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which significantly reduced corporate tax rates and introduced regulatory reforms aimed at promoting growth in financial markets. He also rolled back several financial regulations put in place after the 2008 financial crisis. Now, while Trump's deregulatory policies have been praised by some for fostering a pro-business environment, they've also been criticized for giving too much freedom to industries that may not prioritize consumer protection. If Trump were to return to power, would he bring a similar approach to cryptocurrency? We could see a more crypto-friendly regulatory environment where Bitcoin could flourish with fewer constraints, potentially allowing more institutional investors to get involved. After all, when regulations are unclear or overly restrictive, it can prevent innovation. Trump's pro-business stance might actually open the door for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to operate with greater freedom. But what about Trump's relationship with the traditional financial system? One thing we know about him is that he has an affinity for traditional assets, real estate, gold, and yes, the US dollar. Trump has often used the US dollar as a symbol of American economic strength. It's clear that Trump has a vested interest in seeing the traditional financial system thrive. But here's where things get interesting. Bitcoin, often called digital gold, is seen by many as an alternative to traditional fiat currencies like the dollar. And while Trump's disdain for Bitcoin might stem from his loyalty to the dollar, there's a chance that his views could evolve over time. Think about this. Bitcoin's appeal is that it's not controlled by any central authority. It's decentralized, and its value is largely driven by market demand rather than government policies. So, while Trump has said that he doesn't like Bitcoin, he also has shown support for sound money principles. Could Bitcoin's decentralized nature actually align with his broader economic philosophy of reducing U.S. reliance on central institutions? It's a fascinating question that could shape Bitcoin's future, especially if Trump's rhetoric shifts to embrace it as part of his America First economic agenda. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: Trump's influence on Bitcoin's price and market sentiment. Crypto markets, like any financial markets, are heavily influenced by sentiment. We've seen Bitcoin surge after positive news and crash after negative news. If Trump were to become more vocal about cryptocurrency, either for or against it, it could send shockwaves through the market. For example, when Trump made his 2019 tweet against Bitcoin, it contributed to a dip in Bitcoin's price. Fast forward to today, and Bitcoin has seen significant volatility, prices jumping up and down in response to global events, regulatory talks, and economic shifts. Would a more crypto-positive Trump create a bull run? Or would his critiques continue to fuel doubts in institutional adoption of Bitcoin? The reality is that Trump has a large base of followers, many of whom are savvy investors. If Trump were to openly embrace cryptocurrency, or at least present a more balanced view, it could help to solidify Bitcoin's place in the mainstream financial landscape. But if he continues to undermine it, it could create significant headwinds for its long-term growth. While Trump has expressed skepticism about Bitcoin, that doesn't mean he's against the idea of a digital currency altogether. One thing we've seen in the last few years is the rise of central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. These are digital currencies issued by central banks and are seen by some as the future of money. So, could Trump back a digital version of the US dollar instead of Bitcoin? The idea of a digital dollar has been gaining traction, with the Federal Reserve even launching pilot programs to explore it. Trump's supporters in the banking and financial sectors might argue that the U.S. needs to keep pace with technological advancements, but under the control of the U.S. government. If Trump were to promote a digital dollar, it could be seen as a direct challenge to Bitcoin's decentralized nature. A CBDC could essentially offer the same benefits as cryptocurrency: fast, secure transactions, without the volatility. However, the key difference is that the government would control it. This is a significant distinction because it would keep the US dollar as the global reserve currency, while still leveraging the benefits of blockchain and digital assets. Would Bitcoin survive in a world with a digital dollar? Could Trump's endorsement of a CBDC make it harder for Bitcoin to thrive? It's a critical question that could shape the future of both assets. So, what's at stake for Bitcoin's future with Trump potentially back in the picture? The short answer is a lot. Trump's influence on the political and regulatory environment could either help propel Bitcoin into the mainstream or create more obstacles for its adoption. If he embraces a more crypto-friendly stance or even promotes a digital dollar while accepting Bitcoin as a legitimate asset, it could lead to widespread institutional adoption. However, if his skepticism continues, Bitcoin could face greater challenges, both in terms of regulation and market perception. What's clear is that Trump's views on cryptocurrency matter, whether he loves it, hates it, or remains indifferent. The stakes for Bitcoin's future are higher than ever, and Trump's position will likely continue to play a pivotal role in determining how the world navigates the intersection of traditional finance and digital currencies. So, what do you think? Will Trump's policies benefit Bitcoin, or will they bring a new wave of challenges for the world's leading cryptocurrency? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the world of finance and technology. Thanks for watching.